I was on MSNBC Friday
last week,
and I was talking about OriginOil, and I got and then I got an email. Do you remember Stuart Varney?
Yes.
Remember Stuart Varney, Peabody Award winner from Fox Business? Sent me an email. Hey, what's? And I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was very interesting. He said, "Hey, what was that water cleanup company you were talking about?"
Oh yeah.
Right. Riggs, I think we finally come to the I-Ching of your business, where people are no longer referring to you as an oil and gas business. They're finally the captains of industry in this world are referring to you as a water cleanup business, isn't it? I think you're might as well just throw it up, retire now. It's all good. How are you, sir? Good to talk to you.
I'm fine, and as you can tell, we're blue.
Wow, look at that. Look at this. He's in
his bathroom,
and it's perfectly well lit. Are you doing a reality show over there? What's happening? It almost looks as though you removed sugar from your diet, Riggs.
Thank you. In fact, as you know, I just started the sugar-free diet for the next 30 days.
Yeah, which, by the way, the reason I'm mentioning this now is because Riggs, who I consider a very close friend, Riggs, who's on our program once a week, we're branding him as the Blue Water Man, and of course he's the CEO of OriginOil. But the reason I say this is because this is as happy as he's going to be for the next 30 days.
Oh, this is it.
As good as
it's all downhill from here.
Oh yeah, he'll be pissy by next Tuesday. I can't have him on maybe for a couple weeks because he's going to come back all gaunt.
Sugar-free Riggs, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
You can't handle the truth.
I can handle the truth. Hey, listen, let's talk about real quickly. I know that we're in 2 new cities for Biz Talk Radio Network, and 1 new city. We just picked up Chicago. I know for radio or TV, I can't remember, but nobody's heard that. Nobody in those markets has heard your story, Riggs. So take it away. I got some extra time for you today. So take it away. Let's talk about the business as if no one had ever heard of you before.
Right. So we have taken water for granted, obviously in California, but all over the world. And water is being polluted, and we're having droughts, and people are using water in ways that were unexpected, like this fracking. And really, we need a new technology to handle these vast quantities of contaminated water in an efficient, low energy, and primarily chemical-free way. OriginOil came up with this technology through a very devious route, which you've tracked over the years. And here we are. And now we're starting to make tremendous inroads in 3 major categories. Our original algae harvesting category, which is how we learned to do this. Oil and gas water cleanup, which is the frac water cleanup, et cetera. And finally, and most excitingly of all, the waste cleanup industry, which is even huger.
Yeah, and of course, the wastewater industry, the next iteration of that, I shudder to say,
yes,
would be well, I'm not kidding. Would be drinking water. I know he doesn't want to bring it up yet, and I don't have any inside information on this. I'm just saying, in my mind, that's your next generation. 5 years from now, you guys it's OriginOil next to the freaking aqua, on the shelf. I'm telling you, next to the Dasani water, there's the picture of Riggs' face there.
Right. Oh yeah.
All gaunt and pissy because he has
smiling.
that sugar in his So, by the way, OriginOil is a publicly traded company. Their stock symbol is OOIL. Their website is originoil.com. And more than we lean on Riggs more than just to talk about the company, because it is impressive what's going on there. But also want to talk about the blue industry before you leave today, Riggs. First of all, let's talk about the latest press release, because you have launched an algae business unit, and that's a pretty big deal. Talk about that.
Yes, well, of course, one of the challenges we've had is, since our technology has such broad application, how can we possibly focus it? And the solution that we took was from my .com days, when Microsoft had the same problem, and they created these business units, each one of which was its own mini company that could, really have its own focus. We did that with the petroleum division, and it's been very successful. It's now started to make 7-figure deals in places like the Middle East, and now, of course, in Bakersfield, et cetera. And now we're doing the same thing with the algae industry, which industry, interestingly enough, was our first industry, but because the algae industry is growing from a much smaller footprint, it's a brand new industry, it's taken a while for it to develop.
But let's face it though. You guys were nimble though. You started this algae business, and all of a sudden, oil and gas was staring you in the face. And I don't know that there's a more robust industry in the last 10 years or 15 years in oil and gas. So and to your guys' credit, you went where the business was, and I think without putting algae completely on the back shelf, you followed the money for a little bit, and now you guys have been able to successfully work on several tracks at the same time. Of course, the oil and gas water cleanup, the frac water cleanup, the algae business, and of course, algae turns into a commodity after a while, and then in wastewater. So I think I think it shouldn't be lost on anyone.
But I'm not surprised wastewater was your last option.
Yeah, well, exactly right.
Who really wants
I think Riggs, I'm going to keep you over. Stay right there for a second because we have much more from Riggs Eckelberry. Plus, I want to talk about the blue economy because we're gonna talk some more about the algae business that they just released a press release on. We're talking about the size of the algae business and all the different ways to make money off of that algae business because it's not just a matter of cleaning algae out of the water. There's a byproduct. There's a byproduct, and that byproduct is called algae. So,
what if you could harness that methane?
What would you do with it?
Make methane
Whoopee cushions?
lighters or something? I don't know.
What would you do with it?
Just think, Bob. I'm an idea guy.
I know you. Just can't stop it, can you?
Why?
The blue economy. Riggs Eckelberry.
Is he staying around?
Yes, he's staying around.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about this algae business unit. So suddenly, algae. The timing's right for the algae business unit to come by. What does this mean in terms of focus, and what does it mean in terms of sales? Is this going to be a licensing type of deal, or are we gonna go sticks and bricks on this one?
Right. So recently we announced that there was a product line that we call Smart Algae Harvester, and this product line is basically our technology productized for the algae industry. And as you know, we have this dual track where we're licensing our technology, that's a long-term play, and then because licensing takes a while and because licensees typically aren't ready to manufacture right away, we actually have a complete product line called Smart Algae Harvester in this case, starting at the lab size and going all the way to full size. That's been launched and very successfully. I think we covered that a couple weeks ago. We really needed somebody to prosecute this. Algae is starting to explode in interesting areas. Fuels is not quite so long-term, primarily because the cost of fuel itself's gone down. So, it's not quite as easy to make algae fuel at $50 a barrel. So really what the algae industry is doing these days is about feed, food, and fertilizer.
Wow.
3 Fs.
The 3 Fs.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, there's 3 of the 3 Fs.
That's right.
But Riggs, I keep on, and I want to go back to this because there is a commodity. I mean, the byproduct with algae. I've read so many things about algae could feed the world, right?
Yes.
I mean, is that an accurate statement?
Well, it's the lowest food on the food chain. It's the most efficient. For example, we're working in fish feed, and I was just talking to a major publication yesterday, and their analysts. It's an economical publication. They're analyzing how algae could take over the fish meal market. Now, fish meal is becoming incredibly expensive. It's also toxic. It's being dragged up from the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
It's depleting all the fishing grounds. Basically, the captured fish marketplace is going away. And so now they start trying to use soy, et cetera. Mm-hmm. But fish-fed soy makes fish that aren't very healthy for you.
Well, the other thing too, and that brings up the next point, and that's the blue economy. That's the sustainability, and you guys are dipping your toe into that area because sustainability, even in the fish food industry, affects all of us because of, as you talked about, fishing grounds.
Could I get a little mini version of the Smart Algae Harvester for my fish tank? Just for off the top, stick it right back in, something like that? A little handheld,
like a little original machine for the side of your aquarium. But seriously, Riggs, it's if you think in terms of that. The fish food industry worldwide is a $5 billion industry, believe it or not. This is for pet fish, okay? That doesn't count aquaculture. That doesn't count harvesting fish, which goes up to another $16 or $17 billion just in the United States alone. And as you just mentioned, by using the wrong, antiquated technology to create fish food, it's depleting the fishing grounds, and that affects all of us. So suddenly here we are in the blue economy.
Exactly right, and this segues to the whole general idea of feed. There's an amazing thing going on, and that is Iowa has a huge hog industry. I think it's a $9 billion industry just in Iowa, And what they're doing is they're making hogs for China. We actually have cheaper hogs here than can be grown in China. And why is it? Because these farm producers don't have to clean the water that they're putting down the river. And so this high nitrate content water, which is damaging to humans and also creates algae blooms, et cetera, is being wasted. And this brings us to the waste marketplace, which is exploding.
So to speak.
I'm not going to.
No, get out of there.
Enough of that.
Wastewater marketplace.
It's exploding.
Rusty,
Got it.
off. That's it.
I can't finish a sentence around.
No, you can't. You know what? I'm sorry. He's been muted for the rest of the interview. He can't talk. I do want to talk about this blue economy before I let you out of here, Riggs, because I got about 5 minutes left here. I turned your. What in the next 10 years? The experts are saying. The pontificators, on both sides of the aisle, by the way, the believers in global warming, the non-believers in global warming, believers in sustainability, the non-believers in sustainability, both sides of the aisle say that the next 10 years there'll be 100 innovations and 100 million jobs in this space. Talk about that a little bit, Riggs, because this is, you think cybersecurity is dynamic. Cybersecurity is going to be a necessity to keep us safe. You think clean or green energy is something. This is even bigger than all of that. Correct, Riggs?
Well, yeah, and for us, it's a tiger by the tail. Our chief commercial officer, Jean-Louis Kindler, who's been on your show, just came back from China where he did some deals that I'll be able to talk about very soon. But China alone, for water cleanup, this year only has dedicated $1/3 of $1 trillion just to water cleanup. That's how huge it is. And you're right, it's a vast area. It's booming because we know we're out of water. We know we're out of clean water. Even in the Midwest, the Ogallala Aquifer is down by 150 feet. It's literally, we're draining out the Midwest, which is supposed to have all this water. The Mississippi is running dry. These are critical problems. And meanwhile, agriculture and industry are polluting, and it's time for cleanup.
And I have a question too. Are you raising finch? Wild birds in the back. I hear, for some reason, I'm hearing tweeting going on. Huh?
Nobody else is hearing tweeting, Russ. That's just in your head. It's just one of those things, right?
I swear, I hear like a parrot or something. Are you?
Hey, Riggs, before you get out of here, as far as China goes, on that kind of mandate that you see in China, could we see something like that? Maybe not at that level here in the United States, where they're going to mandate that sort of activity, because what that truly means, I mean, the subtext here is mandates for companies like you is music to your ears, because you have a technology that fulfills the mandate, and you are shovel ready, as they say, to install. So could we see something like that in the U.S.?
Well, in California, we have this wonderful Proposition 1, which funds water cleanup to the tune of about almost $1 billion just for the reclamation side. So that's why there's so much excitement in Bakersfield, where the people we're working with in both ag and oil, using the oil, oil water for irrigation, et cetera.
That's a good idea.
But look at Iowa, for example. This terrible problem they have with the hog water. Mm-hmm. Well, the EPA is stepping in and is saying you got to do something about it. And the producers are recognizing that, at the end of the day, it is their water. So yes, this is happening, and we are rapidly keeping up with that process. It's very exciting.
Very good. Riggs Eckelberry, the CEO of OriginOil, OOIL is their stock symbol, OriginOil.com, and he is the blue technology, the blue economy guy. In fact, look at his jacket. His jacket matches the website.
What is it?
His jacket matches the logo.
There
his jacket matches his eyes. And I just want you to take a before picture here, because in about 4 weeks he's going to be gray and really cranky.
Ashen.
Ashen. Thank you, Riggs. Can't wait to see you back in studio very soon. Good stuff. Origin.